So along the lines of talking about battery fitment placement of the Hyper MT Plus 2, where, I talk about how I, obviously like the battery tray or their design on how those batteries are retained. So we've got a couple of different examples of batteries here. We obviously have, a battery that we can measure. And obviously you can see the same exact battery fitting in the case. Same thing with the ZOP powers. Both of these batteries right here are 5,000 milliamp batteries. ZOP powers registered at, 60C. Not sure if I believe that or not, but seems all right. The HRBs, 50C, I'm finding or I'm feeling I'm definitely getting, I feel a little bit more extended runtime out of the HRBs than the ZOP powers. But I mean, the price you pay for the ZOP powers, whatever. It is what it is. I'm not saying that they're a bad battery. I just don't think that, they last as long as what's advertised. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Haven't actually, stopwatched it. It's just literally that, unknown because, you're pulling that trigger and each time you're doing it, things change. They're variables. But anyways, so I got out my caliper. Caliper's going to be zeroed out. Going to measure the dimensions of this battery versus the dimension of this battery. That one doesn't matter. That's a 2S. We already know that fits because we saw it in the video. So we'll measure the ZOP power because these are the ones that I seem to primarily gravitate to only because at the time I only had the XT, 60 to 90 adapters. I didn't have the ones that I've got now, which is the TRX 290 adapters. But anyways, so got that zeroed out. And obviously, the dial indicator or the caliper only goes out to 153, which is pretty much like, that's 154. All right, so length of the battery on both the ZOP power. I think the HRB is actually, so the HRB is actually slightly smaller, but let's just say like 154-ish. Then we'll go for a width. And the width is about 49, and I'll say like 49 and a half. HRB, slightly smaller, like 48 and a quarter or 48 and a half, if that's what you want to call it. Then ZOP power, thickness with a slight bit of deformation, which is nothing. We're coming in at like 26, 27-ish. And on the HRB is a thinner battery. That's coming in at like 24 and a half. So now the ZOP power. All right, so the ZOP power is actually slightly bigger, but you can see at the corners, there's still room to fit a wider or, I guess, taller battery sitting in the case. And like I was saying before, the way the case is actually designed, when you cinch down these straps, you can see it applies a nice hold onto whatever battery that you're putting in here. And this battery right here, so I want to say 154 is probably about the max length you're going to go. And then what's cool, because of how this case is designed, the wire actually fits right into this corner right here perfectly. And then along with cinching down those straps, right, is it actually applies a slight bit more outward pressure on this clip. It's not huge. We're not talking, massive amounts of a difference, but it does apply a slight little arc to this case, which I can definitely appreciate because with the amount of thrashing that I've done with this thing, landing on its top, slamming in the side, that slam into that mountain, just cartwheels. I don't know. I don't like the word galore, but cartwheels galore. I've got to do a video on how high I've had this thing jumping, and when you edit a video, a lot of times what you do is you put like the best landings. You don't put the absolute destructive landings, but you know what? Or I should do a compilation video of all the disastrous landings that always happen because, you know, this is a thrasher basher. And this thing has been beat. Putting these stickers on here is kind of like made the truck look new again. Like, check out that Ram Runner sticker on the backside there. Chicken wings. That thing is awesome. Diesel power through the windshield. Got the HoBao stickers sporting on the frame and on the bed of the truck. And you got diesel power right there, diesel power gear, RC four-wheel drive, red ball, diesel power, and obviously the special diesel power skull sticker right there, which that thing is awesome. And then, you know, you got the little Fox stickers everywhere. Go fast stickers on an RC, you know, what is it actually doing? It's just one of those things where you're customizing it. You're making it your own, just like the light kit that I threw on there, which consensus is so far is I thought about it. I like the way it looks. This does have an unfinished appearance. It is brighter, but this just looks visually better. Pop off the top here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip the batteries in. Not that it makes a difference, but I'm going to put ZOP power on one side, HRB on the other side, and then give you a bird's eye view looking down to see the distance that you actually have against this, I guess you want to say this buffer plate that is part of the mounting of that battery tray. Or actually, it's the actual mount for the battery tray. So here's the HRB. We're going to toss that in there on this side. I'm telling you, it is a tight fit. I'm not going to plug it in. Just going to leave the wires out of the way. Love that sound. And then I'll put the ZOP power on this side. Normally I like to have my power leads come in this way, but I just, for, I guess, visual purposes, putting the battery in so that you actually see the lettering when it was actually, you know, when it was actually in the case. Changes the way it is. On the driver's side, the battery is actually reversed, and you see the back side of the battery. I just didn't want it looking like that. So let's get these wires out of the way. I'll give you a visual of how much space. So now this is the ZOP power, okay? The ZOP power is literally to the end of that case right there, but look at how much distance you have between, you want to say the frame, or actually that little buffer. That's a huge amount of distance. And then when you look at the HRB, you can actually see that the HRB is slightly inset more. And that was obviously, you know, demonstrated by taking those measurements on the thickness of the batteries to where the HRB is just slightly thinner as far as its depth sitting in that battery tray. We already saw the distance between the actual, you know, edge of the battery and the frame of the vehicle, or the actual battery box mount, right? So pop the battery out, flip it around like how a lot of people that I've seen actually have it mounted in here, and it'll give you, I guess, an illusion that you've got zero space to flip it around. But the thing is, now I'll pop the battery out just to show you. I think you're kind of getting what I'm getting at. Pop it out, right? Now, when you look at how the clip is actually placed or positioned onto the pack, you can see the pack has a lot more reveal on this side than it does this side. So when you flip it around, you actually end up with more space towards the inboard side of the truck, and like I said, giving you way more protection, impact protection, by anything striking, you know, like a buddy of yours, you know, slamming the side of your truck or whatever, you know what I mean? But what it does is it just gives you, I feel, in my opinion, just more impact protection this way. And then there's obviously, you know, protection right here with the battery, you know, hitting up against there, but you can see the space, it's never going to happen. But anyways, that's what I like to run. I'm going to be switching over to the HRB graphene batteries. I think that's how you pronounce it. I have no idea. Graphene. Looks like that's how it's pronounced. But those are the batteries I'm going to be switching over to. Those are actually going to be even thinner. So I should be able to go with a higher MAH rating to obviously get a more extended runtime. I think they're even rated at like 100C, and it's one of those things where is any battery really 100C, but we'll see. Put those through their paces. My thoughts on the Hyper MT and the batteries and how they actually fit in the tray and why I actually like the design of what they've done with those trays. So if you like watching these videos, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Throw me a thumbs up. Charles Pagan, thank you for replying or messaging on there, because it's actually good to get different points of view and know what other people like to do with their trucks for, you know, safety, upgrades, changing little things here and there. Like you like to run your links at, I think you said 59 and 55 or something like that. So, and that's right on spec. I mean, come on. That is right on spec to what you want your truck to do, and those specs sound good to me. So, thanks for watching this episode of What's Up Guy Garage. Share, like, subscribe, do all the good stuff, and let's grow this channel. Thanks for watching this episode of What's Up Guy Garage. Let's go.